Good morning, everyone. It is 9 o'clock. We're here on Tuesday, February 6, 2024, in Cape Coral Council Chambers for the examiner hearings. Before the hearings actually start, I have a few preliminary comments to make. I'd like to introduce the process that we follow. In our process, which is a little bit different than other jurisdictions, the clerk will read the introduction of the case, and then she will swear in anyone who is testifying. City staff will testify regarding compliance with public notice. If public notice is found to have properly been accomplished, we go forward with the case. If not, we will follow another path to be discussed at that time. The applicant will go first and present an entire case. City staff goes second and presents their case as well. Public comment is next. If you're here for public comment, please make sure that your comments are comprehensive, because once public comment is closed, it will not be reopened. Following the closure of public comment, the applicant will respond to questions and make any final comments. Staff will do the same, and the hearing is concluded at that time. If you have a cell phone with you at this time, please turn it off or silence it, and if possible, take any cell phone conversations outside the room. If you wish to have private conversations, please move away from the lecterns which are in front of you, so we do not accidentally record your conversation. If your conversation is accidentally recorded, it becomes public record and available to anyone to listen to. If you have comments or testimony today, please come to the microphone so we can properly record your testimony. All testimony must be under oath. No testimony will be accepted from your seat. Members of the public are requested to go to the microphone on the podium, which is at my left, probably at your right. It has the same video and audio capability as the other speaker's lectern. Anyone who provides testimony other than the applicant and staff is requested to fill out a public participation card so we can properly spell your name. If you wish a copy of the hearing examiner recommendation or order, as the case may be, please provide your email contact information at that time. However, please be aware that if you do provide your email contact information, that also becomes public information and is open to anyone to acquire. With those preliminary comments, I'm going to turn it over to our very capable clerk to announce the first case. Thank you.
Case number VAC 000003, address 5354 Cocoa Court, applicant Stephen and Irene Parker. The applicants request to vacate a small portion of street right-of-way and underlying easements between their properties at 5354 and 5348 Cocoa Court. Additionally, they request to vacate two narrow strips of unexcavated canal right-of-way and underlying easements at the rear of 5358 Cocoa Court and 5348 Cocoa Court in order to expand their property to the edge of their seawall. The city will retain new 6-foot wide public utility easements around each expanded site. Any persons giving testimony today, if you are able, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good morning, Mr. Heller. I think we have some assistance from our, what used to be known as AV department. Thank you, John. Okay. Thank you. I will find that proper notice was given. I hope, Madam Clerk, could you hear him? It looks like we have an audio problem. No, we're okay? Okay, great. All right. Thank you. I will find that proper notice was given. Could we have the applicant up, please? Sir, thank you. There's actually no microphone there. Could you go over there? Thank you. Could you state your name for the record, please, sir? Thank you. Go ahead. Okay, hang on a second, Mr. Parker. Looks like we're having a little microphone situation. Thank you, John. There we go.
My objectives with these vacancies is to optimize the usage of these properties while adhering to the city planning and developing guidelines. The first part of my application involves the vacation of the Hammerhead Road situated between my two houses at 5354 and 5348 Cocoa Court. The request is motivated by the desire to redesign the space to incorporate a side-load garage into my residence. The second part of my application is for the property at 5358 and the canal right-of-way. I propose to realign the rear property boundary to extend to the edge of the seawall. This adjustment will allow for a more effective and beneficial use of the property. The third part mirrors the second concerning the other right-of-way of 5348. I also seek to adjust the rear property line to the edge of the seawall. I have reviewed the staff's report and I agree with it. I would like to incorporate it and the results into my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Have you had an opportunity to look at the recommendations of staff regarding the property?
Yes, I've read it.
And do you agree with them?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. You can have a seat, thank you. Mr. Heller, thank you.
Good morning again, Justin Heller, Senior Planner with Cape Coral Planning Division. This is a vacation request brought by Stephen and Irene Parker for lots 21 through 28 of Block 150. They have quite a few requests here. I broke them out by area. So the first is for the street right-of-way, and this is to vacate 3,022 square feet of street right-of-way and underlying easements between 5348 and 5354 Cocoa Court. Also to vacate 471 square feet of platted easements in lots 24, 25, and 26. Vacate 470 square feet of platted easements in lot 23. For the canal right-of-way at 5358 Cocoa Court, vacate 376 square feet of canal right-of-way and underlying easements adjacent to lots 27 and 28. Vacate 498 square feet of platted easements in lots 27 and 28. And for the canal right-of-way at 5348 Cocoa Court, vacate 292 square feet of canal right-of-way and underlying easements adjacent to lots 21 through 23. And 7, vacate 678 square feet of platted easements in lots 21, 22, and 23. So all three of these properties are adjacent and under common ownership. The properties are located near the intersection of Cocoa Court and Coral Canals. Two of the sites, 5348 and 5354 Cocoa Court, are improved with single-family homes. All properties have single-family R1 zoning and future land use classification of single-family. The owners are requesting to vacate a portion of the street right-of-way between their two properties at 5354 and 5348 Cocoa Court. And additionally, they request to vacate small strips of unexcavated canal right-of-way at the rear of 5358 Cocoa Court and 5354 Cocoa Court. So here's just an overview map of the three properties and the surrounding area. Here's a more zoomed in map of the area, and I have here highlighted in red the three areas of right-of-way that are being vacated. And then even more detailed here, we have the survey sketches of the different areas. So this would be the street right-of-way to be vacated, the canal right-of-way at 5358 Cocoa Court, and here the canal right-of-way at 5348 Cocoa Court. So we analyze this under section 3.4.5B, whether the plat, easements, or rights-of-way are required by the city for any future transportation access, water management, or public utility purposes. We find the right-of-way vacations will not eliminate access to any property. The platted easements requested to be vacated are not needed because the city will retain new 6-foot wide perimeter easements around all the expanded sites. And any utilities found or damaged in the vacated areas shall be relocated and repaired at the applicant's expense. Next standard, whether any required easements are necessary to accommodate the vacation of any plat, easement, or right-of-way. We find as a condition of approval, the city will retain new easements consistent with those provided by the applicants that will be sufficient for maintaining a continuous public utility easement around each expanded site. Third standard, if alternate routes are required or available that do not cause adverse impacts to surrounding areas. No alternative routes will be required, and this vacation will not have adverse effects to the surrounding area. 4, if the closure of a right-of-way negatively affects areas utilized for vehicles to turn around, this vacation will not impede the ability of vehicles, including boats, to turn around. 1 second. Approval of these vacations will not result in the closure or partial closure of any street or canal. 5, whether local utility providers have given consent to the vacation of plat, easements, or right-of-way. And all 3 utility providers have provided letters of no objection to the requested vacations. The owner has provided sketch and legal descriptions showing the easements that will be retained by the city for ensuring a continuous perimeter easement exists. Our comp plan analysis, the request is consistent with policy 1.15, which is the R1 district, is consistent with the single-family future land use classification. It's also consistent with policy 1.15A, as the sites will be developed with a density less than the maximum 4.4 dwelling units per acre allowed. The Cape Coral Planning Division recommends approval of the requested vacation with conditions. In correspondence, I only received 1 email for additional information. I have a bunch of conditions. Would you like me to read those into the record?
Yes, please.
The first condition, the vacation of 3,000 square feet of street right-of-way shall be consistent with the sketch and accompanying legal description titled Exhibit 1 in the staff report. Condition 2, the vacation of 471 square feet of platted easements in lots 24 through 26, block 150, shall be consistent with the sketch and accompanying legal description titled Exhibit 2 in the staff report. Number 3, the vacation of 470 square feet of platted easements in lot 23, block 150, shall be consistent with the sketch and accompanying legal description titled Exhibit 3 in the staff report. Number 4, the vacation of 376 square feet of canal right-of-way and underlying easements adjacent to lots 27 and 28 shall be consistent with the sketch and accompanying legal description titled Exhibit 6 in the staff report. Number 5, the vacation of 498 square feet of platted easements in lots 27 to 28 shall be consistent with the sketch and accompanying legal description titled Exhibit 7 in the staff report. Number 6, the vacation of 292 square feet of canal right-of-way and underlying easements adjacent to lots 21 through 23 shall be consistent with the sketch and accompanying legal description titled Exhibit 9 in the staff report. Number 7, the vacation of 678 square feet of platted easements in lots 21 through 23 shall be consistent with the sketch and accompanying legal description titled Exhibit 10 in the staff report. Number 8, city shall retain easements sufficient for maintaining a 6-foot wide perimeter easement around each individual site as depicted in the accompanying sketches and legal descriptions titled Exhibit 4, Exhibit 5, Exhibit 8, and Exhibit 11 in the staff report. Number 9, if utilities are found or damaged within any vacated right-of-way or easement, as described in this report, the owners shall bear the cost of relocation and repair of said facilities. Number 10, the applicant shall at their expense remove all asphalt formerly serving as city right-of-way within the proposed vacated street right-of-way, and shall restore the right-of-way abutting the proposed vacation by A, restoring the right-of-way to meet cul-de-sac design specifications as provided with in the city engineering design standards, sheet G4, and B, installing an approximate 15-foot wide sodded area within the city right-of-way between the proposed new property lines and the proposed new edge of pavement, except where driveways are located. Number 11, the applicant shall at their expense relocate and reconnect any catch basins located within the proposed vacation area to a location within city right-of-way established by this vacation and approved by the city public works director or their designee. Any relocated catch basins shall be reconnected with existing stormwater management network by a like size and material storm pipe. And lastly, the owners shall reimburse the city of Cape Coral the cost of recording this resolution with the Office of Lee County Clerk of Court. And that's all I have for you. At this point, I would like to incorporate my staff report as part of my presentation.
I will so incorporate. I think our Assistant City Attorney wants to weigh in on something.
John McClurdy, Assistant City Attorney. Just for the record, I noticed, Justin, all of your conditions you rounded. Do we typically do? You rounded the square footage, basically? Aren't we typically? I just want to make sure the order, in the recommended order, because certainly the ordinance will go to council, will reflect the decimal point and the rest of the footage rather than around there. It doesn't even say approximately, so I just want to make it clear that these are approximate numbers, missing the fractional part of the square footage.
Duly noted. Thank you, Mr. Heller. A very nice presentation and very lengthy conditions. I appreciate your recitation. Thank you. This is a public hearing. Are there members of the public who wish to provide testimony or input? Come on up. When you get to the microphone, sir, would you please state your name for the record? Madam Clerk, is this gentleman sworn in?
Yeah, my name is Ronald.
Is he sworn in?
Last name, I'm sorry.
Hang on a second. We'll need to swear you in, sir. Hold on a second.
Please raise your right hand. Do you
Yes.
solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir. And could you state your name again, please?
Okay, the only concern I have is what is the new cul-de-sac design going to look like? You know, what the radius is and what the width of the pavement is going to be. That's my concern.
All right. I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions of public comment, but certainly that's something you could discuss with staff if you wish. But I didn't get your name, sir. Could you say it again? Your name.
My name is Ronald. Last name is Pica, P as in Peter, I-C-A.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't answer, I'm sorry, I don't think you can hear me. I don't answer questions from the dais. That's a question that you could ask staff after the hearing if you so choose. Okay?
Okay,
Is there
thank
anything?
you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else wants to speak at public hearing? Okay. Seeing none, I'll close the public comment section of the public hearing, bring it back to the applicant. Mr. Parker, could you come up, please, sir? If you choose to, you can respond to Mr. Pica. If you don't wish to, that's fine, too.
It'll be the same radius that's already there.
Sir, I'm sorry, you can't testify from your street, from your seat. You can continue if you wish.
It'll be the
Mr.
same radius that's already there. all I'm coming over is about maybe 50 feet, but that same radius will just continue going around, just like it does on the opposite side. How that just swings around, it's going to do the exact same thing. Instead, where it has that little bit of road in front of my driveway, it's just going to be grass there.
Okay, thank you,
That's all.
sir. And I appreciate your courtesy in responding to that. You've heard the testimony of staff this morning. Do you wish to incorporate that testimony into your presentation as well?
Yes, please.
Do you have any other testimony you'd like to provide at this time?
No, that's
All
it.
right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Heller, you're up, sir. Anything else you'd like to testify to regarding the situation today?
I have nothing further, but I can pull up that sketch for this resident just to show them.
Why don't we do that? Thank you.
Okay, so basically, this is going to be the street right-of-way here that will be vacated, so you can imagine that is now going to be grass, and the remainder to the right-hand side is the cul-de-sac. So it doesn't even go into the full radius of the cul-de-sac. And all this will be reviewed by the City Public Works Department, and everything will meet proper design standards.
Okay, anything else?
That is all I have.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the additional information. Mr. Parker, I will go ahead and recommend to council that your request go forward as you've stated it today and is located in your documents as well. At this point, I'm closing the hearing and opening the second hearing. Madam Clerk, thank you.
Case number RZN 23-000013, address 1005 and 1009 Southeast 10th Street. Applicant RJMJ Properties Incorporated. The applicant requests a rezone from professional office P1 to commercial C for 2 parcels totaling 25,000 square feet. One parcel is developed with a marine contractor while the other parcel is undeveloped. The applicant owns an additional parcel that abuts the site, which is zoned C. The parcels have been designated commercial professional CP and have been zoned P1 since 1989. Any persons giving testimony today, if you are able, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good morning, Mr. Boyko.
Good morning, Madam Hearing Examiner. Before the applicant gives their presentation, I'd like to just state on the record that this case has been properly advertised. There has been letters sent to residents within 500 feet of the property. There is a sign placed on the property as well, and then there is an advertisement placed in the newspaper of local circulation, and all of this was done 10 days prior to this public hearing.
Thank you. I will find the proper notice was given. Thank you. Can we have the applicant up, please? Thank you. And could you state your name for the record, please, ma'am?
Janine Rusnell with RJMJ Properties.
All right, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, I'm here to request the rezone from professional to commercial, which is consistent with the proposed future
I'm sorry,
land.
could you speak a little closer to the mic? I'm
Sure.
sorry, I could barely hear you.
I'm Janine with RJMJ Properties, and I'm here to request the rezone from professional to commercial, which is consistent with proposed future land use. This would go with the flow with what is already around us, surrounded with other businesses, and our vacant lot is in between what we would like to improve. And by that, I mean this will prevent existing flow of traffic riding up and turning around in the lot, creating unnecessary traffic. We have vehicles that have to park in the road because we aren't allowed in the field or the vacant lot. The employees that we have, their vehicles have been struck by traffic turning around in that vacant lot. This improvement will also eliminate the rain runoff of dirt into the road. Our intention is to expand our business for the future generation of our children and to keep business here in the Cape. I agree with the staff report, and it will be no change in the current use of the business. It'll still be Monday through Friday, daylight hours.
Do you wish to incorporate the staff report into your presentation today?
I do.
All right, thank you. I don't have any other questions at this time.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you. Mr. Boyko, thank you.
All right, good morning, Madam Hearing Examiner. For the record, Chad Boyko, Principal Planner with the city's Planning Division. Before I begin, I would like to be recognized as an expert witness based upon previous testimony before the hearing examiner, and also my credentials that can be found at the city clerk's office.
Thank you. I will find you as an expert regarding matters relevant to this hearing today, based upon your CV, which is of record with the city clerk's office, and also based upon your testimony regarding matters that are similar to those in front of us today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So what we have before you this morning is RZN 2313. This is a privately initiated rezoning application. The applicant for this rezone is RJMJ Properties Incorporated. The location is 1005 and 1009 Southeast 10th Street. The size of the two parcels combined is 25,000 square feet. This is located in the transition area of the urban services boundary, which states that utilities are available to the site, city water, sewer, and irrigation. And then the applicant's request is a rezone from the professional office, or the P1 zoning district, to the commercial district. On the right-hand side of the screen, we have a map that kind of shows what the surrounding area is for this site. The two parcels that are outlined in red, one of them is developed with the contractor business, and then the other parcel is undeveloped, which is abutting and to the southeast. The surrounding area to the north, across a canal, you have essentially the Vizcaya Industrial Park with numerous industrial uses. To the west, to the northwest, across Country Club Boulevard, you have commercial zoning, and it's developed with a Dollar General retail store. To the east and to the south, you have a combination of primarily multifamily and some duplexes. You also do have a little bit larger daycare facility that is located to the southeast of this property as well, and that is one of the non-residential uses that is located within this general vicinity that is southeast of the Country Club area within that development. The existing zoning of the two parcels, as we mentioned previously, is professional office, or P1. It's indicated by the light blue, and then the two parcels that are surrounded by the red on your screen. To the northwest, you have the parcel that is also owned by the applicant, that is zoned commercial. A little bit further west across Country Club Boulevard, you have a similar C zoning that is established there. To the north, across the canal, you have the industrial zoning, which is, we mentioned earlier, is part of the industrial park. To the south, southeast, you have a combination of professional office zoning and residential multifamily low, which is what we talked about with those existing duplexes and multifamily establishments that are there. And then the applicant's request is to take the two parcels that are extending off of Country Club Boulevard past the one parcel owned by them and rezone them to the commercial district. So the findings of fact, we already mentioned that it's two parcels totaling 25,000 square feet. One parcel is developed with a marine contractor, while the other parcel is undeveloped. This has had the commercial professional land use since 1989, and then the professional office zoning has been established since 1990. This does have access from a local street, which is Southeast 10th Street. However, they do have one parcel that is also owned by them that has frontage along Country Club Boulevard that is zoned commercial. And then the applicant has stated that the rezone is sought to expand the existing marine contractor business within this area. So we analyzed this first with our land development code. We have 6 standards that we look at for rezonings. We'll go through them now. The first standard is whether the proposed district is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan, and then staff finds that the proposed commercial district is compatible with the CP future land use designation. It's one of 2 or 3 zoning districts that are compatible with that commercial professional future land use designation. The second standard is whether the full range of uses allowed in the proposed district will be compatible with the existing uses in the area under consideration. The commercial zoning district allows for a wide range of commercial uses, from retail to offices, to banks, to auto repair, and contractor uses. The existing uses that are within this site that are not located in the industrial park that is to the north is you have multifamily residential, you have the daycare center, and then you have the existing contractor use on that building. The majority of the uses staff finds are compatible with the existing uses in terms of, you have multifamily development all throughout the city that is located near commercial uses. You also have some commercial uses such as the daycare center that is located in the same vicinity as well. Staff also finds that the size of the site, being that it's relatively small, kind of limits the type of uses that can be done on that and the scale at to which it's developed. And staff finds that based upon some of these factors, you will have some reduced intensity possibilities based on the size and the existing use, and the intensity that would be derived, through vehicle trips and noise would be diminished based upon the characteristics of the site. The third standard is whether the range of uses allowed in the proposed district will be compatible with the existing and potential uses in the area under consideration. Staff finds that when we looked at the site and the surrounding area, most of the parcels that are around the site are currently developed. There are very few undeveloped parcels. Most of them that are left that have not been developed as of right now are zoned for multifamily, which does allow for some non-residential uses such as the daycare to be developed within there. Staff finds that the most likely development of one of the parcels that is abutting to this, it's also owned by the applicant, and it would be wrapped into this development if the business that is existing on the site would be expanded. The fourth standard is whether the proposed district will serve a community need or a broader public purpose. We talk often within the standards of the city's need for non-resident development. It's already zoned for professional office, which is a non-residential zoning district. The site would allow for the expansion of an existing use, which could perhaps bring in some additional jobs and then kind of keep this business flowing and kind of keep out a business established. And one of the city's economic goals is to not only bring in new businesses, but to retain and then to expand the existing businesses that we have within the city. The fifth standard is the characteristics of the proposed rezone area are suitable for the uses permitted in the proposed district. We mentioned that the site is two parcels, one of them being developed. It does lack some of the ideal depth for commercial zoning. Typically, our preferred, that doesn't mean that it's a required, but our preferred depth for commercial zoning is 250 feet of depth. This does not have that. It's only 125 feet of depth. You do find some other areas. I mean, you even have areas across the street from Country Club where sites can exist and they can be developed properly without that preferred depth. The rezone staff finds would be an extension of the commercial zoning extending out from Country Club Boulevard. You have the one parcel that's already Zone C, to that's abutting to these, and you also see that same pattern, like I said, exhibited with the Dollar General that is across Country Club Boulevard, where you have commercial zoning that's sort of expanding outward a little bit from the Country Club Boulevard area. Staff finds that the surrounding area is a mix of commercial and multifamily residential, so you do have that mix of uses that's already established within this site. And then the last district is whether a district other than the district requested will create fewer potential adverse impacts to existing uses in the surrounding area. Staff finds that the existing P zoning does have fewer uses and fewer generally intense uses than the C district. The C district allows things such as auto repair and some other uses that can have some sort of increased impacts based on noise and vehicle trips. However, throughout our analysis and what's already existing there in the site factors, staff finds that the rezone to C may not increase adverse impacts to the surrounding area due to the establishment of an existing business already within that site. And then we looked at this per the comprehensive plan, chapter 4, the future land use element. We looked at table 115, and we found that the proposed rezone will be compatible with table 115 to state that the C district is compatible with the CP future land use designation. So our recommendation is based upon our analysis of the comprehensive plan and the land development code. Staff finds that the proposed rezone to commercial is consistent with both of those documents, and staff recommends approval of the rezoning request.
Do you wish to incorporate the staff report into your presentation?
Yes, I do.
I have no other questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. I do have a request to speak from a member of the public. I'm going to mispronounce your name, sir. I apologize in advance. Kirk Schwab? Job. That was close. Come on up. Thank you. If you want to speak, come on up.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead. Thank
Good morning,
you.
Ms. Dalton. How are you today?
Fine, and I think you were sworn in, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
So the reason for my attendance today, I own the adjacent property, 1013-1015 Southeast 10th. The previous occupant of that facility, Shoreline Lumber, I had a good working relationship with that company. The property in question is a vacant lot. It did have hardy growth on it, and it did control the sand erosion, the sugar sand that the applicant was saying it happens in the turnarounds when people turn it around. The full story behind it is, in fact, that property when Rosnell Marine came back into their facility that they own, the property was being used up to literally just last week as a industrial site. There was mini excavators used on it, skid steers, boat trailers, winch trucks with commercial trash bins on it, not to mention the mass amounts of concrete slabs, old pilings, old docks that were being removed from residents and whatnot, part of their business. This is a professional development, and they have received a number of violations through code compliance involving this matter. And as a direct result of the mass use on this property, there has been thousands of pounds of sugar sand that erodes down into my property, and it affects my business. It affects the daily operations, not to mention the financial impact. In fact, last week, I had to bring in a contractor to bring in and clean up in excess of over 1,000 pounds of the sugar sand. And it has continued to go on, and we tried to work with them as far as the code compliance officers, and there is record of this, to implement some form of mitigation for this erosion control, whether it be a barrier, or whether they do some kind of improvement, and to this date, there has nothing been done. So that is one of the major problems. Secondly, the safety in that area is a very small street which encompasses residential, daycare, school bus stops. Everything on the side that my business is located on is C1, P1, all the way down to the end of the road. This problem on Southeast 10th Street has impacted activities because of the style of work they're doing on that property. It's a safety matter in addition to this erosion factor. I don't think that something like this should be accepted as a rezoning. I bought into this nice little P1, C1 niche to run my businesses and be a good neighbor to the other adjoining businesses. And I had a good adjoining neighbor at Shoreline. And when Rosnell came in, their intention is to bring industrial process into it on a number of occasions when there's an industrial park right across the Montevideo Canal. Now, they had mentioned earlier that their business is growing and they got to have places for their people to park. Well, that's fine and dandy. But if your business is growing, just like everybody else's businesses in the city of Cape Coral with the growth, look at maybe if you can't improve the property to work with your adjoining neighbors, then move. Try something else in another location. If things are going that well for you, then find another location that keeps the city happy. Quite frankly, ma'am, that area is almost center point of the city of Cape Coral. And to put it quite frankly, it's a nuisance to see what's going on over there. They pulled all the stuff off and it's behind their fence and all that stuff's hidden away. They still use their excavator back there behind their fence, but it's just not sound. It's not safe. You got a lot of foot traffic there. You got a daycare facility with lots of traffic in the early morning hours and the early evening hours. You got a lot of foot traffic with the women's shelter, not to mention there's a school bus stop 50 feet away. And when they were conducting business in violation of code on that empty lot, there were a lot of close calls, and they had mentioned about having their vehicles hit. Talk about an improvement to that property if you're going to be doing something other than running an empty lot as a place to conduct industrial work. That's a nice little niche for professional business. That's what I conduct out of my facility, and that's the only what I would expect in the future, is to see development that encourages people to use a parking lot, to get this area cleaned up as far as the traffic flow. I have nothing else, ma'am.
Thank you. I wanted to apologize to you. I know you were here at a previous hearing, and we could not go ahead with it, so I'm sure as a small business owner, it takes a toll on you to be here twice for hearings during the day, so I am sorry that that happened and that you were required, not required, but that you had to come back twice to voice your opinion.
Just one more thing. I do have lots and lots of evidence compiled of this ongoing situation. Code compliance has, I'm kind of an eyesore to one of the code officers because I've made so many concerns about this. So I'd like to, if possible, submit that.
If you have it with you right now,
I
yes,
don't.
but, well, this matter will go in front of the city council.
Okay.
And you'll have another opportunity to address the city, you'll have an opportunity to address the city council on this matter.
Great.
Did our assistant city attorney want to weigh in, or? Okay, thank you. Anything else, sir?
That's it. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All right. Anyone else wish to testify? Seeing no other requests to testify, I'm going to close the public comment section of the public hearing, bring it back to the applicant. Ma'am, could you come back up, please? Thank you. This is your opportunity to address comments at public comment if you choose, or make any other testimony you choose.
I understand his concern, and that's part of the reason we want to do the rezone. I mean, everything that he pointed out, the vehicles and the, coming and going, the soft, dirt. We want to improve the property to alleviate a lot of that. And as far as a lot of the stuff being in the vacant lot, a lot of that was around the time from the storm. And we had a lot of, people throughout the city. We were trying to help a lot of people. So we had, no choice but to do that. But again, we just want to improve it. We want to keep the flow of traffic and everything safe. And we can't do that without improving the property. So that's what the intention were. Shoreline was there for a while. That was still our building. We rented it to them to do the same type stuff. They're in the, we work with Shoreline still. They have their equipment, delivered, and their supplies and whatnot. That's, all we want to do is improve the property, to expand, to make it, better for the whole neighborhood. We're very careful, with the traffic flow. And again, when people come, it would make it easier if everything was improved and they could pull in, to the property rather than being out on the street. And again, it's Monday through Friday. We've been there for quite some time. And yes, code enforcement has been out, but again, we're kind of stuck because we don't have any, we can't expand right at this point. So every time they've come out, we've complied. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to work with all our neighbors. We did try to approach and speak with, I didn't, my husband would have been here today, but he was sick. But he has tried to communicate to make him understand what we're really trying to do here. We're not trying to disrupt the whole neighborhood and change everything. We're just trying to expand our business and move forward and do everything in compliance with everything else.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Can we have staff up, please? Mr. Boyko, thank you. Did you wish to weigh in on this matter, or you choose not to?
I think both sides have presented their arguments well. I do understand the fact that with the current zoning that is there, it kind of limits the options that can be done for the applicant to expand their business. They're sort of in a catch-22. With the professional office zoning, it kind of limits what you can do there in terms of the uses. The business has been there sort of, it established itself, but it can't expand with the professional office zoning until the commercial zoning comes into place. So staff understands the points, and we looked at this in terms of the C zoning and how it relates to the area and how it expands out from the Country Club Boulevard intersection, and staff finds that it kind of mirrors the pattern of what you see existing on the other side of Country Club Boulevard, with allowing the C zoning to extend outward from that roadway a little bit.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
All right, thank you very much.
you.
Appreciate your testimony. I have a lot to think about with regarding to this recommendation, so I'm not going to announce a recommendation at this time. I am closing the hearing, and that concludes our hearings for today. The next date and time of the next hearing is Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, at 9 a.m. here in council chambers. We stand adjourned at 9:45. Thank you very much.